Kanaka, no ia, kia ora, kia orana, talofa lava, and warm Pacific greetings to everyone tuning in to the first ever episode of Island Time with Sarah. Welcome, everyone. Glad that you can join me today. I'm Sarah, your host and partner, as we listen to some incredible stories around the Pacific. This podcast will focus on Pacific women, our rich Pacific oral tales and wonders, and climate resilient story. This month, we celebrate International Women's Day, and I have a special guest today who has experienced domestic violence. For her protection, we have decided not to mention her name. Here at Island Time, we let our people tell their story.
Survivor, a victim of domestic violence.
Thank you. How does it feel to say that out loud?
It feels so different. It feels nerve-wracking, but it feels good to say that, to hear the sound of my voice and to hear what I've just said. Sort of scary, to be honest. But the way I feel right now is different. Just the thought of sharing this story and the people that might hear it has already scared me, but it feels good.
I think you're very brave. I guess what everybody is probably curious about, your story. How did it all begin?
I think I was still in Form 6. And the children's father used to visit us in the village back home in Fiji, in Sinatoka. And so he asked me, he asked for my hand in marriage. I said no, because I know he was my cousin. He begged me for a couple of months. I think we left it a 1-year break. And one day he made a promise to me. He told me, if you say yes to me, I will take care of you no matter what. I had to learn to love him. But I agreed to be in a relationship with him just because he made a big promise to me. And that means a lot to me. Then we moved up to Suva, lived with his family. So the physical abuse started as soon as we started the relationship. We went out on a date at Village 6 for a movie. My mom sent me some money and I surprised him for a movie. And after the movie, we were walking back to the bus station. So he turned around and he asked me, where did you get the money from? I told him, Mom sent me some money. He got upset about that because I didn't tell him that my mother sent me the money. And he turned around and slapped me and left me in the middle of the town. To some people, leaving me in the middle of the town in Suva, it's okay. It's not a big deal. But I'm the only child, and I was brought up in the village. I have never gone anywhere by myself. My parents, they always take me everywhere, even the school carnival. So imagine being, that person that grows up in the village who has never drank or went out clubbing or been anywhere alone at night. And then, he took me in the middle of the city and did that to me. That was shocking. So that was the first time it happened. So he left me and I found my own way back to our place where he was just lying there. So I opened the door, walked in. He looked at me. He just apologized. But, I just cried, fall back into his arms, and we moved on.
And
so we moved here.
And did it get worse when you moved away from home, like from Fiji, or was it?
So when we moved to New Zealand, the physical part was not worse than Fiji. Fiji was worse.
I think probably one of the questions that I just wanted to ask you, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to ask as well. Why did you stay on? What was going through your mind at that time?
With me, Sarah, I had always told myself I made up my mind that the first man I'm gonna date, I will spend the rest of my life with him, no matter what. So that's why I decided to stay. Even though he was treating me the way he thinks that it was right, I stayed because I never wanted, to break our family, I think part of it is our spiritual beliefs, divorce is, to my understanding, divorce is not acceptable in the eyes of God. That's how I know it, that's what I believe in. So everything was happening to me, Sarah. I accepted it and I counted it as normal. It was normal to me. I couldn't see that it was not right. That's not supposed to be the way we are treated. But I never saw that, I was okay with it, to be honest. Everything I was going through, I have normalized it. I have accepted. I thought that's part of, being in a relationship. I thought that's part of being marriage. It was never about the fear of one day he might kill me. No, I never saw it that way. It was just my spiritual belief and the marriage protocol. You stay and you fix it and you make it work no matter what. That's why I decided to stay. But then every morning I wake up with a hope that one day this man would just wake up and he would change and stop hitting me. So 15 years with him, Sarah, and that was the beginning of it. He came and he said sorry and everything as normal. You hit someone, apologize, and you make up and you stay. But then along those years, when I was pregnant with Ako, I was pregnant with her, he would still hit me. So yeah, I was pregnant with Ako. So he dragged me, stabbed my head, and it was a lot. Even when Ako was, I think, 5 months old, he was carrying Ako and he threw Ako to me, and I've just catched Ako. Yeah. Every now and then he would slap me, he would hit me, and I would have black eye, cracked lips, and all those kind of things. The physical part, only God knows, from a knife, ended up at the doctors, lying to the doctors about, my swollen head or black eyes and all those kind of things to save my marriage. Only God knows. But it went into, putting knives on my throat. The physical abuse, Sarah, only God knows. Only God knows. He would always just turn around and say things like that, When we came to New Zealand, because we were on a work visa, he was on a work visa, so my visa was attached to him, which is called a partnership work visa. So we've been here for 4 years, then this happened. So we haven't even applied for express of interest. We haven't done anything about our residency. Well, because he would always turn around and he said, not even arguing or fighting. It's not even an argument. He would just say politely in a good way, you know what? I'm never going to apply for our residency because I don't want you to get a free ride from me. I've been with him for 15 years and I have never taken control of our finance. So when I came here, I have to transfer money into his account. So he runs the funds and things like that. If I use his AFPOS card, he changes the PIN number. And imagine, Sarah, he goes to work and, I have a baby. Aku is still a baby. I walk up in the supermarket, you buy all these little things and then you use your card and it gets declined and then you call him and he's like, oh, I changed the PIN number because I need to control the finance. I would ask him to buy clothes for the girls and he would respond as, they won't die if they don't have clothes. When he goes to work, I drive to a place here, it's called Pregnancy Health, where they give free clothes. And they put boxes of kids' clothes outside the corridor. And I would sit there and look for clothes for my girls. And I would bring it home and wash them. And he would come home and see all these cute little clothes, so beautiful. I dress up the girls so well. Nobody knew what I was going through. And I told him, well, I've been to Pregnancy Health. And he was like, oh, okay, that's really good. And again, Sarah, everything I'm sharing, I never realized this until every day I tell my story to people. I have to retell my story over and over again. That's when I realized all this. But at that moment, I thought it was okay, Only God knows. But 12th of November 2019, that's when I decided to take a stand, because every time he gets angry, he started taking it out on my older girl, Lucy. So that gave me the power to stand against him. Right before I went to the cops, Lucy heard us. She tried to stop the fight. And he picked Lucy up by the collar. Her feet was off the ground because Lucy was just screaming at him and telling him, Daddy, stop, Daddy, stop, Daddy, stop. But he didn't listen to her. So he turned around, picked her up by her collar. Her feet was off the ground, and he swore at her to shut up. And he swore. When he put Lucy down, she was shaking. She was only 7.5 by then, Sarah. So things were getting out of hand. Sarah, $20. That's how it started. By just going to the police, seeking for advice. They took us to the women's refuge. So when we moved back home, the court cases had started for SECA, and this thing has came out, the very thing that I was scared of. The families hearing what I did. The only thing that hurts the most is the fact that the way they try and help fix our marriage was based on a lie. They've always asked me to go and cancel this case because, it has become a court case, to cancel his court case by saying that my mind wasn't right. And every morning I wake up. This was the only one, my parents was not here. I don't have any families here. I only have $20 in my bank account, Sarah. The only thing that kept me going was Psalms chapter 119, verse 154. And that says, I give my case, take my side, protect my life as you promised. And every day, I would just pray to God that every day He would find a way out. The judge that sentenced him, he gave him the same period of time that he was abusing us. So, according to their investigation, so he's been doing that to us for 3 years and 1 month. So he sentenced him within that same time period. So when he comes out, the girls and I applied for full protection order. So that's something good to let the women know out there, because the protection order is a lifetime order. It's lifetime. And the protection order still allows you to live as a husband and wife. So you both can, if he comes out and if I want it, he moves back here and we live as normal. But the protection order is there for me that he would never raise a hand on me. Or if there's a time when you just, you're just not comfortable with him anymore, you ask him to leave and he should leave. It didn't matter, but what matters is I was free from him. I was free, the mind control. So we came home, Sarah. We came home, and it was so lucky because in New Zealand there's so much charity organizations here. So people who just, by now, the word by mouth, people had started talking about the things that we went through, which kind of helped too. So people would show up with food, bags and bags of food. And so that's how we lived every day, Sarah, just by the New Zealand people. Being free from him is just a wonderful feeling. And above all, is just not living in fear, not living in doubt, having not to be disappointed, just happy. Like if you want to get angry, you get angry. If you want to scream, you scream. And if you want to laugh out loud, you just laugh out loud. Sarah, bringing a mattress into the living room and you spread your mattress with your blanket and you just lie down and you watch movie. We can't even do that. My husband doesn't like that. So having the freedom to do that is wonderful. I hope that makes sense, down to the little things. I stay in my own house, and it's funny because when I was with him, I've always wanted pot plants. It's just the thing, I wanted a pot plant. I've always asked him, can I buy pot plants? But he doesn't like it. So when I was separated from him, Sarah, the first thing I did was I went and bought myself 2 pot plants. That's the first thing I did. I bought myself 2 pot plants. I went and bought myself a guitar. And when we moved to our having my own furnitures, my own decoration, the way I like it. I don't even know how that happens, but we went on a holiday. We went for a helicopter ride. Like I said, Sarah, we've been to places that we've never been before, or the things that we're able to afford to buy, to do while we were with our dad, we managed to do that without. And then this year I managed to, register my own baking business. I've got a license to read. What I'm just finding now, I'm like, oh my God, what, is that feeling? It just feels so good. Like I'm happy that, I finally realized like my mind is awakened from a deep sleep or something. And today it makes sense to me what other people always say: if he's done it once, he will do it again.
Wow, what an incredible story. I know that it's not easy to relieve that, and it takes an immense amount of courage to share that story. But my friends, the reality is there has been an increase in domestic violence cases across the region during the lockdown. If you know that someone is going through this, or if you're facing it yourself, please call the National Domestic Violence Helpline number, which is 1560, or a child helpline at 1325 if you're experiencing domestic violence at home here in Fiji. There are people willing to listen, and there are people willing to help if you reach out. Thank you very much for tuning in with Island Time with Sarah and listening to this remarkable woman go through these acts of violence in her own home and surviving it and thriving. I hope you can join me again. Next time, our story will be based on an oral history here in Fiji. Stay tuned. Bye for now.